And we're back. This is BNA for Continue a VIF. We are now on Moving On.
괜찮은 거야?
아휴, 별일 아니야. 괜찮아. 들어가 있어.
내가 한번 타볼래. 할아버지.
This is a Korean film, and it's from the Gateway section. Directed, produced, and written by Yoon Dan-bi. This snatched 6 awards at the Busan and Rotterdam film festivals, and she now has been hailed as the successor of Shoplifter's Koreeda for her nuanced and worldly wise understanding of multi-general relations. And Yoon apparently cites Uzu as an influence, but Ho Xiao Shen's Summer at Grandpa's also comes to mind, as the film evokes the trans science of life in a dreamily moving finale. VIF. So yeah, this is I haven't seen the trailer. It's 105 minutes. This is the longest VIF film I've seen. Basically, this movie is about this girl. After her parents' divorce, she and her little brother lives with the dad and grandpa and aunt under the same roof. And yeah, so she lives with them, and basically this is about it. The adults are careful to choose the moments to divulge their worries, secrets, and schemes. And herself, on the cups of womanhood, navigates first love with uncertainty and covers up her longing for her mother with anger and evasion. And things comes to a head when Okju realizes that family interests are not always selfless. Okay, haven't seen a trailer. This is a debut. I mean, Yoon Dan-bi was born in 1990. Short film Fireworks was screened at the 16th Daegu Independent Short Film Festival and the 15th Korea Youth Film Festival in 2017. So it was screened at Busan, 4 awards, including the Net Pack Award, whatever that is. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Can't wait to check this out. I have no expectations, but debut directors are always great, just to see what they have up their sleeve and what they bring to the table. Pretty interesting too, as she is also one of the producers, so that's a difference between the other debut films that I've saw in VIF so far. Other ones I think are just usually the director and the screenwriter. Anyways, that's it. This is the before, and this is after. Holy smokes, guys! Holy smokes! Like, if you raved about Parasite because of Oscars and everything, and you don't even seek out Moving On, you're losing out. You're missing out on some crazy Korean cinema here, because holy smokes, Yoon Dan-bi and cast and crew and everything, this movie was nuts. Like, seriously, she produced this, she wrote this, the cinematography here, oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start. Like, the editing, oh my goodness. Like, the cast, I don't know where. Okay, let's go with the actual narrative. So, she wrote this, and this is real life, everyone. This is literally, I'm pretty sure most of you watching this will have some real life connection to the happenings to this film, either in terms of family issues, family deaths, sibling rivalry, sibling hating on each other for parents' approval, all that stuff. It's all here. And I loved how they cast who they cast. I mean, if you have seen Korean movies, dramas, you know what kind of people are in those films and dramas, and they have a certain look to them, as in, oh, you're an actress, or you're a TV actress, TV actor. you from a K-pop group or something, that kind of vibe and look. But here, oh my goodness, they just literally cast ordinary looking people that you literally will see on the streets, which is great because it sort of really connects on that level that this is just a slice of life story that can and probably has happened to some family. And that is that. Like, if you're expecting something crazy, nothing really crazy happens. Melodramatic, nope. Yoon Dan-bi's writing balance that so well. I think right now, this year with VIF, I've been noticing this trend is that there's a lot of real life dramas, and I don't normally see this many. Normally, I'm in the altered states where I'm watching all the weird stuff that will never play and I can never find them again after this festival. But this stuff, this drama stuff, like the Hong Kong stuff that I watch, the Taiwanese movies, and this one, like drama, reality to no end. And yeah, that's why you don't feel too much as you watch this, but it's the appreciation of the camera and the acting is so natural that you feel like you're just literally watching someone's life. Like, speaking of camera, if you have seen Korean dramas or movies, you know the typical sort of blocking and camera angles that they typically use for whatever situation, dialogue scene, emotional outburst, what have you. And Yoon Dan-bi does that here, but elevates that, and it's like, wow. Pulling back and showing more of the cast as they have discussions about dinner, something super mundane, or even something more like dramatic, as in, we're gonna sell the house. What? We didn't have this discussion. Like, even that is always like drawn back, different levels, different layering of where characters are situated, and the blocking is great. And the shots where they do wide shots of characters not even in the center of the frame anymore, and they're slightly off focus, and your eyes starts to wander and just like, what's happening? And then you're like, okay, the characters are there, but it's like, why is there so much space in this shot? It makes you wonder and intrigued, and I love that throughout the film. And it's done in a way where it's tasteful. It's not done in a way where like you keep noticing it as it happens. So it's very, very naturalistic of using those shots. And also, if you have seen a lot of Korean dramas and movies, you notice there's a lot of dialogue scenes that occur in cars, and they usually cut back and forth between whoever's talking. There's not a lot of cutting back and forth between talkers actually in this entire film. But speaking of car sequences, I loved how, again, they use the car as a vehicle for the narrative to move on, dialogue scenes, but they make it that it's outside. Like, the very first shot of the movie is them moving, and they're in this like tiny little van. So I guess because of the actual van, they can't really film. I mean, I guess they could have filmed inside a van, but I don't think there's an actual shot inside the van too much. It's always outside. And then the first sequence in the beginning is a long take of them just leaving the house that they just got out of. And it's just like this shot where the car is just moving towards camera, and then you just follow them around and stuff. And then it sort of repeats that later on when, some themes are repeated. And yeah, like, I really enjoyed the cinematography here. It was naturalistic, it was elevating, but it's like fresh at the same time. And I'm like, wow, as a directorial debut, this is like just wow. And this is just the camera work. When we go down to the actual cast, the cast here is great. They do everything well. The two kids in this film, there's no wiki page for this movie, so I don't know how old the sister is, the actress, but oh my goodness, her acting. First of all, every cast member is very natural. The lines that they have, very realistic lines. There's no overplayed lines or any melodrama, and just like the mundaneness comes in and goes, and it's just great. But just the acting between all of them, I mean, that the adult actors, I think, sort of have the easier route because they don't have too much emotions. But the two kids here, the sister and brother, it's like, wow, they really sold the whole sibling love-hate relationship, and just, you know, the sister being older and just not understanding the younger brother. Just a lot of conflict that comes from them don't feel cinematic. It feels like we're just watching two siblings yell at each other and then make up and then, you know, laughing later on in the night type of thing. And we really did enjoy that. And there's like a great scene near the end when emotions really start rumbling to the surface because of a narrative thing that happens, and it's just like, wow, like the actress playing the sister, that one shot at the dinner table was just great. Like, I loved how there was that repetition of food in this film, where each time they have food, there's like a discussion of something, and it just feels like some discussion you would have yourself at the dinner table. And when that moment happened near the end of the movie, it was just like, wow, for the director to use this and to keep lingering. That's another thing. The camera lingers long enough, and it's never too long, and it really gives you that idea that you're occupying this space, being like an awkward observer of this family as they go through the things that they do. But after the table and then going to her room, that scene was just like using it, and it just really cemented the fact of how so much actually happens in this film, but you don't feel overwhelmed at all while you're watching this. It's very piecemeal, it's very like day to day. And, you know, if you've seen movies a lot, you tend to think of like, okay, what's going to be happening next? How is this movie going to end? Okay, this happened, that happened. Okay, the movie's going to end soon. But there's none of this. Like, things just happen, and they just happen. And you would assume, hey, this thing is starting to happen. Are we going to go down this route? Is it going to get melodramatic? Are we going to deal with her husband? Are we going to deal with his ex-wife? Are we going to deal with this random boy? Or this shoe selling business, what have you. Like, there's so many of these moments throughout the film that it could have gone down those routes and it would have been melodramatic and it would have affected the entire vibe of the film, but it never does that. It's just, it piecemeals it, and it shows you enough that it establishes these characters that they have these other problems that are never on screen, but they matter. Like, there's always that, you know, phrase of like, show don't tell. They do tell. They do talk about like the ex-wife. They do talk about the current husband issues, and it's like little but enough, and it's great. And also we have the grandpa. Oh my goodness, like that grandpa, the actor, he hardly says anything, but he delivers his performance of this, the nuances of him being this old guy being all of a sudden sick and now being taken care of, but at the same time he's taking care of his own son who just had a divorce. Like, there's so many things happening, but he doesn't really talk. There are moments where I feel like, okay, these characters could have been fleshed out, but I feel like they've been fleshed out so well that you want to know them more. This organic feeling of like, you want to know more. Okay, what happens to them? Like, can I know more about them? And that's just great writing and acting and directing of the actors to have that level of you wanting to know. Because sometimes you're just like, okay, I feel like you're underdeveloped. Or do I even care about your character? All those things. So really, this movie being so natural and organic is such an accomplishment for a directorial debut that is just blows me away, because it's just like, I cannot fathom this when I first watched this movie, that yes, a debut writer, I don't know if it's debut writing, but debut directing and also producing and screenwriting and getting 6 awards at these festivals, and, you know, being hailed as a successor of Koreeda for Shoplifters, which I don't really understand the comparison, because I feel like the narratives are very different, and Shoplifters feel like a movie, whereas this one doesn't. And I haven't seen A Summer at Grandpa's, so I will definitely check that out just to see, like, what is that? Why is there even that comparison with Ho Xiao Shen? But anyway, so seriously, if you have watched Parasite and you really dug that, or maybe you didn't like Parasite and you wanted something more traditional in a sense, maybe you didn't like the craziness at the end of Parasite, and you wanted something more like down to earth, this is it. Now, this movie came out in Korea in August of 2020, and it hit Busan Festival last year. And so far on IMDb, there hasn't been an actual release date beyond festivals, which is unfortunate. But seriously, if you have to be on the lookout for this, and it's just mind-boggling that why isn't more, like, where's the distributor? Like, we need a distributor for the US right now. And let me just double check on the release dates. So yeah, so the release date, October 1st, was in the States. It came out in Nashville Film Festival, and that's it. Everywhere else it's being released, it's in a film festival. So I really hope that it does get picked up by international distributor, because this is just wow. I mean, it has to, with 6 awards going forward. And then just it's gonna pick up more stuff, because this is just great cinema, and definitely worth your time. I mean, granted, you need to be in the right mind space for this, because it is very organic and realistic. So you might, for mainstream audiences, it might come off as, what's the movie about? What's the point of this? Like, when you go down these routes, that's typically what I don't like. Like, what is the point? There is not singular point for a film. It's like when you just experience it, that's where, if a director can go to that level, that is where that stuff is. So anyways, talked long enough. Check it out. If you ever see it in theaters, playing anywhere, just go watch it. Just go and give it your money, because it definitely deserves it. And I will definitely be on the lookout for the director's next projects for sure, because it's just wow. Anyways, that's it. So keep liking, keep watching, and subscribe, and share, because sharing is caring. And that's it for this BNA for Moving On. Stay safe and stay healthy. Out.